trying to turn into a house.
Yeah, just be careful. It's a nightmare in there. Sucks.
Love you.
Tonight, we look at 6 scariest camping encounters caught on camera. Real moments, real danger. Don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying footage like this. Let's begin. On September 4th, 2025, the action-adventure twins, a channel run by 2 identical twins known for exploring caves, tunnels, and forgotten underground worlds, set out on another unusual mission. This time, their destination was a quiet suburban neighborhood. Hidden below the homes of unsuspecting residents, they discovered an entire house built inside a cave. The deeper they went, the clearer it became someone had tried to carve a life into the rock itself, only to vanish, leaving the project frozen in time.
Check it out, me and Amanda are out here in the middle of the woods, and there's this crazy cave that's been turned into a house, or some guy's been trying to turn it into a house. Look at that retro fridge. Good question. Somebody's put a brick in front of it.
Probably something good in there.
I see why they put the brick in front of it. It's an actual fireplace in a cave. This is like the kitchen area, it looks like. You got all sorts of electrical runs, Smurf tube.
Look at the masonry back there.
This is well done.
He's doing a good job.
Yeah. This is like the little plumbing access over here.
Yeah.
There's a dungeon down there. We're gonna have to go down there.
I would want to duck down.
What?
To get to my rooms though, you know?
Well, what is it? Is this a room?
It's a bathroom. Look, there's a shower.
The shower would be right here. There's a drain.
Like either a shower or a toilet.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's definitely a drain here. Oh yeah, this does look more like a shower. He got it about 80% of the way there.
Look at all the bricks. It's really nice. Like, really
Yeah.
Or what is that? Cement?
I think it's just concrete, isn't it? He has a lot of electrical boxes. He was about to put a lot of lighting in here.
The exploration began without delay. Within seconds, the twins found themselves in a cold chamber lined with brick walls and traces of electric wiring, proof of human hands shaping the earth. A vintage refrigerator stood near a stone fireplace, both strangely preserved, as if the builders had planned to return. Farther in, they found what looked like a half-finished bathroom, complete with pipes and drains carved directly into the cave floor.
This step right here is really small. You just have to be careful and watch your step.
Oh, this is crazy. It gets even bigger down here. It's pretty cool.
How would you keep the moisture out of here? That's
I think that's why he abandoned it.
like
This is crazy. This has to be the bedroom. This is where I would put the bed. It looks like you could literally just walk in a natural cave over here.
It does.
That's insane. And there's some crazy white formations.
Look at this. It's a cow bone. Or a human
Oh.
bone. This is so pretty.
I know.
I thought that was going to be.
I hear water.
Me too.
He has like a river running under his house. Oh, there's a hole over there.
We're going through that hole, aren't we?
Yes. Because that's where the water's coming from.
Deeper still, the air thickened. A damp smell rose as the faint sound of running water echoed through the tunnels. There must be a river under here, one of them murmured. His voice swallowed by the darkness. The walls began to sweat. Water dripped from above, tracing the years since anyone had been here.
I don't know if this is actually possible. Oh, there's a pool of water down there. Head first might not have been the best way. But it worked.
A lot of mud.
Lots of mud. I see why he tried to seal this area off. It kind of goes in every direction. Now, do we get into the water or? Oh my god. Oh, we hit the river again.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sign.
Wow, yeah, I don't think we'd fit in there.
You think?
We better keep going in the mud.
Oh, wow, are you sure?
Yeah, there's formations hanging down. Those will scrape your back right.
Because you're almost there.
I think I'm gonna get stuck.
Just hold your breath.
My head's going underwater.
You're getting close, right?
Uh-oh.
Under 3 feet?
They're stabbing my back. Don't go in there.
Nothing.
You can't get through. It was a nightmare in there.
I see what you mean, though. From this angle?
Yeah, just be careful. It's a nightmare in there.
Oh, goodness, this is a lot. This thing is like a knife.
Yeah, I know. You already look like you're stuck.
Bad. Okay, go back.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, are we crawling from here?
Wait, are we?
I don't know.
Are we crawling down the river now?
So,
I think this is the end of the line.
we did bring a bunch of spare lights, right? It opens up.
That's always good news. The water's the way.
Oh, look. Did we get to that whole direction?
Oh, wait, well, there's bricks. Yeah, let's go that way. And now we're back.
They crawled through a narrow passage that tightened with every inch forward. The light dimmed to a soft halo around their helmets. The air grew colder, heavier, each breath louder than the next. One wrong movement, and the rock itself seemed ready to close in. When they finally reached a small open chamber, the sound of rushing water filled the void like a heartbeat deep underground. Viewers later wondered who had once lived or planned to live here. Some said it must have been an ambitious craftsman from the 1980s, others imagined a hidden shelter, maybe even a secret escape that was never finished. As one viewer put it, my claustrophobia was screaming just watching this. When the team finally resurfaced, mud-streaked and breathless, they realized the cave sat directly beneath someone's backyard. Above-ground life went on quiet, normal, unaware. And it makes you wonder, how many hidden homes still sleep beneath the streets we walk every day? Hold on a sec. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's continue. February 2024, near Eagle River, Alaska. Maria, the creator of Roaming Reckless, drove her old Land Rover deep into the snow with her dog Blue. Her channel usually documents quiet overland trips across America, camping, cooking, surviving the cold. This time she planned a simple 3-day stay at the Rapids Camp Yurt along the historic Iditarod Trail, but Alaska had other plans. What began as a calm winter retreat would soon unravel into 3 days of smoke, fear, and silence.
We're going to a yurt that we have to hike to, 2 miles in the middle of the woods. This is going to be dry camping, so we've got to take all of our supplies with us. There's going to be nothing there for us but firewood. Oh, this thing is so heavy, oh my gosh. We're starting up here. Our yurt is down here. We're 15 minutes into our walk. My back is already killing me, so gotta love scoliosis. Oh my god, this is insane. I actually feel like I'm in Narnia. Like, come on. Rapids Camp Yurt, heck yeah. Here you go, bub. Just in time before dark. Oh my gosh. Someone remind me to get a hiking backpack, a proper one. Thanks. This wood is kind of wet, which is not good. Now we're cooking. I've been working on the fire for like 2 hours at this point, and I am running out of fire starters. I really don't know what else to do. It's like all of the wood is wet and nothing will. I've been trying to restart the fire every time, like tinier and tinier. It only burns with a fire starter, and then as soon as it wears out, and there's so much smoke in here, it's like not even funny. So it's just like Now my pickle is that it's pitch dark. While I could go back to Poe, it's pretty early in the night still. Do I really want to walk 45 minutes straight in the pitch dark through the Alaskan wilderness? No, I don't. But I can't stay here if there's no fire. What do I do? This sucks. I give the fire one last ditch effort using the one log left I have that I think is semi-not wet. So we'll see what happens. See how smoky it is in here? I feel like Blue and I are gonna have to make the trek back to Poe because I just can't risk the fire not working and then Blue getting cold in the middle of the night. I think Blue and I are just gonna have to go back to Poe.
Maria loaded her pack with everything she thought she'd need: food supplies and layers for the cold. Blue trotted ahead as they followed a narrow, snow-packed trail that wound through the white forest. The walk was only 2 miles, but by the first mile, her back already ached under the weight of her gear. She called the landscape Narnia, a quiet wonderland of ice and mountains that made the effort feel worth it. When the yurt finally appeared through the dusk, it looked perfect. A small, round shelter standing alone beneath the peaks. Inside, there was a wood stove, a bunk bed, and enough warmth, she thought, to outlast the night. But as the hours passed, the wood refused to burn. Smoke filled the air thick and gray until her eyes stung and her lungs hurt. With temperatures dropping and Blue shivering, she had no choice but to leave everything behind and walk back through the dark.
This sucks. I've never been so happy to see this truck in my life. Oh my gosh, it smells like smoke. Let's pack up and clean this place out. Frozen solid. Good thing we didn't stay last night. There's a sign in here talking about an aggressive bear in the area, and granted, bears are hibernating right now, but they do come out of hibernation every once in a while, and we're in aggressive bear territory, so. This says, in recent weeks, a black bear with bad behavior attempted to gain access to all 3 yurts. They had to cancel reservations for weeks, so. Wish us luck.
She carried a flashlight, a knife, and her fear. The woods were silent, the kind of silence that makes you wonder if you're truly alone. By the time she reached her truck, relief came like air, the heater humming Blue, curling up on the seat beside her. The next morning, she returned to the yurt. Inside, a notice on the wall warned campers about a black bear that had recently torn through the same area. Later, her heater broke, her backup power failed, and she ended the trip sore tired and thankful it hadn't been worse. Locals would later remind her how dangerous Eagle River can be, stories of hikers gone missing, of animals that wake too early in winter hungry and confused. One viewer wrote, "That bad feeling you had walking back wasn't fear, it was instinct." Maybe they were right. Maybe the smoke that forced her out of the yurt wasn't just bad wood, but Alaska's quiet way of telling her to leave. October 3rd, 2025. The forest was quiet, too quiet for what was about to happen. Somewhere beyond the asphalt, where trails twist through mud and shadows, the high gear crew began another reckless ride. Their videos never waste a second, no music, no build-up, just straight into the madness. A brand new dirt bike, a rider full of confidence, and a trail that seemed alive, waiting. Woo!
No, my Krivina. Close the gasoline, man. My Krivina. No.
The engine roared, echoing through the trees like an animal breaking free. The first few minutes felt invincible, the rider balanced on one wheel, slicing through dust and gravel. Then came the first fall. A quick skid, the thump of metal against earth, and silence. He stood up laughing, brushing dirt from his gloves. But the trail wasn't done with him yet. Moments later, the second crash. The front tire slid on wet roots, sending him straight into a tree. The sound of impact was dull and heavy, like a heartbeat slowing down. The bike hissed its exhaust, bent the tire, half buried in mud.
Yes, green. Green, yes. Red. Red, yes. This one. Ui, abbiamo Mike. Oh, ne abbiamo bisogno. Ah, nice. Jo, de res, da je moj pet preživel, ej. Moj pet survive. Up in here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ah.
He kept riding. The forest grew darker, the path more narrow. When the third crash hit, it was violent. The bike spun sideways, flinging him into a bush. His angry shout tore through the trees before fading into the wind. Then came the strangest moment. The engine shut off by itself, as if the machine had finally had enough. And then, the last fall. The worst one. A brutal slam echoed through the woods. Plastic snapped, metal groaned. He lay still for a moment before laughing weakly, lifting the bike with trembling hands. Blood ran down his wrist. "My pet needs reviving," he muttered, voice shaking somewhere between pain and disbelief. Some viewers called it luck, others called it obsession. Maybe it was both, a strange dance between man and machine where pain becomes proof that you're still alive. When darkness settled over the trail, the rider stood alone, the forest closing in behind him. The air felt heavier now, as though the path itself had memorized his every fall. And somewhere in that quiet lingered a question. Next time, would the woods let him leave it all? On May 29th, 2023, the team from Twin Paranormal, Ryan Wyatt and River, ventured into Hockomock Swamp, one of the most haunted wetlands in the United States. Hidden within Massachusetts' infamous Bridgewater Triangle, this place had long been tied to tales of strange lights, disappearances, and ancient curses. Their channel investigates real reports of the supernatural using specialized equipment to separate myth from reality. But this investigation felt different. Locals called the swamp the dwelling place of spirits, a name that carried weight. As the sun began to sink, the air thickened, and the forest seemed to wait in silence. Before heading in, this team met with Josh from Exploring with Josh, who shared warnings and stories passed down for generations.
Okay, so right now we are on our way to Exploring with Josh's house so that we can get some information about the Hockomock Swamp. He's gone there a couple of times, so we're gonna go to Josh's, get some more information so that we have an idea on what we are up against. He's been traveling, he just got back home.
I just came back, I don't care. It is what it is, we out here, so.
So Josh, give us like a, the lowdown of what
you guys are, yeah.
What were you going there for?
So when I first went there, I was going there because there's some sort of creature in the forest called a puckwudgie. The puckwudgie is about 3 feet tall. It looks almost apparently like a goblin creature, but also has fur like a monkey. Also, it can shapeshift into an orb of light.
But you saw that in the forest?
I saw it in the forest more than once, 3 times. This shape-shifting orb of light thing, it was coming towards us all the way out of the forest when I was with my friends. And I was like, dude, there's no way that was was a person. It was 2 in the morning, by the way. Why is someone else going to be in the forest, except unless it was a cult person, which we'll get into. So
What about like skinwalkers and stuff?
exactly. So before I met you guys, I had no idea what skinwalkers were or shapeshifters. Also, the puckwudgies is another thing that I personally believe in, and maybe that kind of can tie in with skinwalkers, but I don't know. You also have to worry about the cult people that live there. The locals will literally tell you there's something crazy in the forest, don't go in there. Any local you see will tell you that. So it is scary. This place is no joke. You have to worry about cult people, ghosts. So this is, in my opinion, honestly, this is the most haunted forest in the whole US.
What do we do, boys? It's gonna be just us.
It's like a portal for everything that we know about.
Everything, literally everything.
Tonight on Monster Hunters.
Exactly. You're monster hunting, ghost hunting, and whatever.
He spoke of 2 beings said to haunt the swamp puckwudgies, mischievous creatures that appear as glowing orbs, and skinwalkers, shapeshifters tied to dark rituals. He told them not to enter after nightfall. They went anyway. The deeper they moved into the wetlands, the more uneasy the air became. Water pooled around their feet, and distant branches cracked like whispers. Their spirit box soon began producing fragmented words that no one could fully explain.
What the?
So much so that authorities try to convince people not to come here at nighttime. So we're all a little on edge.
Can you leave that alone for a while?
Have you seen one of those before?
Do you think what I just heard, it sounded like there was like footsteps and then growling right after the footsteps. Do you think what I just heard passed and went right there? It stopped.
It stopped.
None of these things that
We brought will hurt you in any way. They just show us that you're around. You can touch them and mess with them all you want.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Hello? Guys, the weather is starting to get worse and worse. As you guys saw, it knocked down our camera, and our camera fell down into this stream here. Filming in this weather is starting to become kind of an issue. So far, we've gotten some great stuff, but I have seen a couple of other people do an investigation where they sit in their car and see if they can catch any. So we are thinking of giving that a try just in case if this does not work out. The weather said nothing about this happening tonight. We also feel kind of like we're in danger. I don't know if it has to do with the weather or just this swamp. Just letting you guys know what's going on because I fear kind of for our safety a little bit here.
The temperature dropped sharply and the weather shifted in an instant. A sudden storm sent wind tearing through the trees, knocking one of their cameras into the water. Still, they kept filming. Flashes of light appeared through the mist, brief amber glows that hovered and vanished. The forest seemed alive, watching. Every step forward felt like trespassing. When a loud crash echoed behind them, instinct took over. They turned back toward the road, drenched, shaken, but determined to continue their investigation from the car. When the video aired, viewers debated what really happened that night. Some believed the lights were puckwudgies guiding them toward a supernatural gateway. Others thought the energy belonged to a skinwalker, warning them to leave. A few insisted the violent weather was no coincidence that the swamp itself had tried to drive them out. Back in the car, the activity didn't stop. Their devices still reacted as if something had followed them from the woods. The storm finally eased, but the sense of being watched never left. Maybe the investigation ended when they drove away, or maybe in Hockomock nothing ever really lets you go. April 19th, 2025, Oregon's Mount Hood and the fabled Bigfoot Highway. On Salish Sasquatch, a channel devoted to real encounters and field evidence of the creature locals call Sasquatch 8, witnesses recount moments that changed their sense of the wild. From quiet campsites to deep wilderness trails, each story begins the same way, with silence that suddenly isn't silent anymore.
Hi, I'm Mike Leone. I'm from Portland, Oregon. And on September 28th, 2012, I saw a Sasquatch right here. And basically, I pulled into this spot late at night. It was a little bit after 11. I was backed in right here. And it was very quiet, super dry, still night, and really nothing happened. I actually fell asleep right over there in the chair. Woke up sometime in the middle of the night, crawled in. I had a Honda Element at the time. I had a little camper in the back and just went to sleep like I always do. I woke up. I had the windows cracked. It was a beautiful morning. I was just listening to the birds, laying on my back, when I heard a stellar jay squawking, and that made me sit up. As soon as I sat up, I caught movement to my left. And right there on that road, there was a Sasquatch walking away. I only saw it from the back for a few seconds. Walked away around that bend and right out of view. The first thing I said was, "That's my sighting?" Because everyone fantasizes about what their sighting's going to be. And then I grabbed my camera, I had a little flip video camera, and I went after it. And you'll see that on the video. And basically, you'll see on the video, I'm walking really slow because I'm really expecting a Sasquatch to be standing right around this bend. And I'm like creeping with the camera, as you'll see. And of course, there's nothing. So this is, you can see, you can just see my car. My car is right behind those trees. So when I looked, this is where I saw walking. Right along this dry, dusty dirt. And it just walked right up through here. That time I got my sandals on and out, that thing was gone. It was so stealthy. Holy shit. So I continued down this road and it dead ends another 50 yards. And I was in sandals and I'm looking around for tracks. It was super dry. It hadn't rained in weeks, so there was nothing to see as far as track wise. And then after looking down the dead end there, you could see there's places where you could see tracks and there's nothing. I came walking back down. I wanted to get my regular shoes on, and off in the woods up there, I heard this samurai yell, like just wah, rah, rah, really loud. And as I was walking back, I'm like, it almost sounded like it was getting reprimanded by the other one, because maybe it got seen or something. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that Sasquatch cut through the woods and went right up. There's a creek there, and then right up that hill. There's nothing but dark woods back there. There is a little trail, but that's it. And yeah, I searched all around that whole day. There was nobody camped here. Both of those campsites were closed. It was the end of September. And it was right about here. I saw it. And I would say it is about 6.5 to 7 feet, dark brown, very broad-shouldered, thick. And it definitely appears like they have no neck, just the way their shoulders and trapezes are built. And they definitely walk with about a 5-degree lean forward. And this thing just walked away slowly, very similar to the last few seconds of the Patterson film, the way it walked, a brisk walk around this bend, and it was out of view. And that's all I saw. But yeah, the end of September, this creek is filled with salmon. And they're right at the end of their spawn run. And then they're easy picking. The water's very low. I'm almost sure that's what the Sasquatch are doing when I saw them. They're just getting food. Easy meal. I could show you the sticker thing. So there's no cell phone covers here. So Cliff Berkman, one of my good friends, I was going to call him, first person I was going to call. And there was a little wooden sign right on the tree. It's no longer here. And I put a little sticker on here as a marker to show them right where I was parked. And so I would come back here every year, and I always it was remarkable that sticker stayed on through all the bad weather, all the wind and rain that comes back here. So fast forward to 5 years to the day. This is the little weird part. And I'm camped over on that side, and it's the exact day, 5 years to the day. And it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and two gals come by on horseback, and they ride through, and they ride right up to this sign. And the girl stops, looks at it, and rips that sticker off. And I couldn't believe it. Like 5 years to the day. And I always remarked how that sticker never came off of there. And yeah, I just think that was kind of weird that I got to witness that. What are the odds of me seeing that sticker get ripped off? 5 years to the day I had that sighting. It's pretty remarkable. But there's nothing but thick, gnarly woods all on that side. And there, if you keep going, you hit 26, and there's a lot of road crossings there. So they are in this area, 100%. There's a lot of encounters.
Have you heard any other vocalizations when you've camped here?
No, I've been here many times since. I've had no other Bigfoot activity that I know of. And I've known people that had weird things. They've camped at that horse camp.
The first witness, Mike Leone, remembers a brown necklace giant crossing a logging road near Portland in 2012. Moments later came a furious scream from the trees, a sound that felt directed straight at him.
I lived in the Sandy, Oregon area. So Riley Horse Camper, the horse camp area is and was very close to my house, a 25 minute drive in car with the horse trailer. And so I would go up there a lot to day hike during the summer, of course. I want to say it was approximately 2012. I'd taken 2 horses, my daughter and my husband at the time up there with the intent to go camping and just have a couple nights away. And that's what I had booked. We unpacked, rode the horses, came back to camp, and then went to dinner or had dinner. And then probably went to bed sometime right around 10 o'clock. And within 15 or 20 minutes or so of us going to sleep, my horse started getting really, really upset. So I got up. He was stomping and snorting. Couldn't see a reason for it. But usually, you think if there's a bear or cat nearby. Didn't hear anything, didn't see anything, laid back down. About 15, 20 minutes later, the same thing happened. He was snorting, stomping, throwing his weight around, got up. Couldn't see anything. I think by the 3rd or 4th time, I was really starting to get a little bit irritated. But that one of the next time, I think it was like time 3 or so, I could hear something out along the tree line. So I looked, but you couldn't see anything because it's such a dense forest. You use your flashlight and it just gets lost into the trees in the darkness. And so I really at that point thought more than likely it was wildlife. Well, then I laid down again, and next thing I hear is a conversation, something talking back and forth. I would say it sounded like 2 men or 2 males. It was much deeper, and you could hear the rustling in the trees. And I'm like, okay. I get up again. And one of these times I got my husband up and he couldn't see anything. And I looked out, but I couldn't see anything. Like you could hear the bushes rustling, but you couldn't see. You couldn't see what was going on. And so I was like, all right, settle the horse, lay back down. And then that conversational piece continued. And the horses stayed fairly upset for a while. I didn't sleep real well that night because of what I presumed was somebody hiking around the perimeter of our camp. Not ideal. I mean, understandably, we're in a location, Riley, you don't have cell service. There are no park rangers. So if something happens, you're 7 miles up to the trailhead and to the gate, and then another maybe 2 or 3 miles in. So, you're a little distance from being able to call for help if you need something, because Lolo Pass Road doesn't have cell service a good portion of it. I think the next day, we decided probably was best that we leave. But it never really sat right with me what had happened the night before, because it dawned on me as we were packing and leaving and like the day after that there was something in our camp area having a conversation. There was syntax. There appeared to be like the glottal stop. So you could hear words with breaks in between. And it kind of, the joke, the samurai chatter. But what I realized is I couldn't recognize the language.
At Riley Horse Camp, a woman and her family heard low voices at night, language-like but wrong, matching the so-called samurai chatter known in Bigfoot research.
Remote backpacking trip with 2 co-workers, and we were out looking for high mountain lakes in the Mount Hood wilderness on a fishing trip, and we had a 2-night experience with Sasquatch. And so the first night, we set up our camp at this particular lake, and we go hike around to find some other lakes. So that night we go to bed around 11. At about 1:30 in the morning, I hear what sounds like 2 rocks being clanked together, and it's coming from 50, 60 yards away and getting closer and closer to camp. And my buddy in his tent heard this rock sound. And then I hear just something marching around above our camp. We had 3 tents set up, with 3 of us each in our separate tents, and it was kind of circling our camp and breaking sticks. At the time I couldn't tell if it was smacking things off of trees or stepping on them. Well, that goes on for like a minute, and then that rock clank sound starts up again, and it gets further and further away.
Another hiker describes 2 nights in the Mount Hood wilderness when stones clacked, branches snapped, and a huge shape rocked behind a tree before vanishing. A father and son camping by a remote lake in 2022 heard wood knocks echoing across the water. Then a scream so powerful it shook their chests. They fled, leaving tents and gear behind. Researchers at the North American Bigfoot Center add that similar patterns, rock-throwing, strange speech, overwhelming stench, reappear across Oregon's forests. Others, like Tyler Kennedy and Joseph Granda, describe close visual sightings and the eerie calm that follows when nothing moves but the sound still lingers. Every account aligns curiosity, mimicry, territorial warning. Most events occur at camps, not deep wilderness, as if these beings watch from the tree line drawn by firelight and food scents. Some witnesses believe they're guardians of the woods, others remnants of an older branch of humankind. The forests around Mount Hood remain among the most reported Bigfoot regions in America. 8 voices, one message, something immense still moves there. So the question isn't if they exist, but whether they already know we do. It was October 16th, 2025, when Luke from the Outdoor Gear Review returned once again to Pisgah National Forest in North Carolina. His channel has always been about camping, hiking, and gear testing, calm, methodical, and grounded in reality. But even before he arrived, Luke mentioned something strange. His last 2 visits to this same forest had been very, very weird. He said he would explain those encounters later.
My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. For this week's trip, I'm heading back to the Pisgah National Forest. Over the last couple of months, I've done 2 trips out to the Pisgah National Forest. Both of them were very, very weird. I will talk about the strange encounters that I had with other people later on in this episode.
Yet as the trees grew denser and the air turned heavier, it felt like Pisgah already remembered him. Luke drove deep into the forest, searching for a place to camp. He spoke calmly, admiring the autumn colors, as he found a clearing quiet, isolated, and ideal for testing his new tent and sleeping pad. He set up the shelter, carefully explaining every step, noting the slope of the ground and the direction of the expected rain. Everything appeared under control, but as the day went on, things began to feel different. A car scraped over a hidden dip in the road, followed by another vehicle crashing into the same spot just hours later.
It is almost time for sundown, folks. Currently 6:41, and we are at 3,854 feet in elevation. I'm full and happy and warm. Life is definitely good. Someone did pull into the campsite that's across the road here. Made a bunch of noise. It sounded like they were setting up camp, and then all of a sudden they took off. At first, I'll be honest, I was concerned. They were pretty loud, pretty obnoxious, but then they quieted down, so who knows. Anyways, my friends, the plan for the rest of the evening is pretty simple. I'm going to sit around this fire for as long as I can. It may have another 30 minutes of life in it, but it's almost done. Once it's done, I'll hop inside of the tent and call it a night.
Luke described the sound as the worst I've ever heard. Later, while walking near his site, he noticed something unsettling, a pile of trash scattered through the trees.
I had a great time. While we didn't have any strange experiences in the Pisgah National Forest, we did find that massive pile of garbage and the drug stuff, which is to be expected, unfortunately, in this area. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If you're going to go out into a national forest area, a remote area, you really do have to be careful. You never know what you're going to find, and you never know what may find you.
Inside were used drug items discarded near the very spot he had chosen to sleep. He called it an unfortunate discovery. It wasn't just trash, it was evidence of someone else being there. Luke didn't touch it. He simply moved on, his voice quieter than before. As the rain came early, he cooked dinner under the tarp and reflected on his previous trips to Pisgah times, when strangers parked near his camp shined flashlights into his tent or argued in the woods deep into the night. He called it national forest weirdness, a mix of beauty and danger that can't be separated. That night, heavy wind shook the trees, waking him around 3:30 a.m. He stayed still, listening. By morning, he brewed coffee, packed up his gear, and prepared to leave. Luke never claimed anything paranormal, only that some forests feel different. Viewers agreed, sharing stories of uneasy camps, strange voices, and odd encounters. One even said the raven he saw years ago might have been a warning. Luke ended the trip without any new encounters, just that single disturbing find. But his final words stayed with the audience: be careful out there. Because in Pisgah, sometimes the danger isn't what you can't explain. It's what you find left behind. That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.